Hey, my name is Jan Miller, here with Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
This is what being a NASCAR fan is all about. Singular history and tradition.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. This is so special.
Unmatched on-track intensity.
We gotta go.
And triple-header playoffs action to ratchet up the stakes. Throw in a can't-miss concert, camping, and the legendary atmosphere of Talladega Boulevard. And you've got more than a race. You've got Talladega. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Roll Tide and welcome to this Thursday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover. Great to welcome you to our Tuscaloosa studios for what is our final week of just having one show a week. Starting next week, we'll have this show coming up Tuesdays and Thursdays, coming up live at 2 p.m. on all CTSN social media platforms, obviously available to watch on demand as well on the CTSN YouTube page, where we are fired up for what's coming up as Alabama football is just around the corner in more ways than one. We will start by talking with Crimson Tide running back Jan Miller as we once again have another episode of the Countdown Fall Camp with the Crimson Tide podcast, taking you inside the episode of that great series presented by Poetry Financial. We'll talk with Jan Miller right off the top here this week on Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Then we'll be joined at our Advantage Center studio by Brooke Steere, a senior leader for the Crimson Tide soccer team. She'll detail what's making this team unique, as well as one of her mates on the back line, Gessica Skorka, who last night not only joined us on Hey Coach, but also a few weeks ago we caught up with her at the Alabama Soccer Stadium. Tonight is the home opener for Alabama Soccer, so a lot of excitement around Wes Hart's program. Then we'll have Coach's Checklist to round out the show as we'll hear from the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Kalen DeBoer, following a great scrimmage it sounded like this past Saturday at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Taking a look at our headlines that are always presented by our friends at RJ Young. RJ Young, the official technology solutions provider of Crimson Drive. They've given us a smart board to go through all of our headlines in a really interactive way. And we start with the football team. It is the final week of fall camp. Obviously, classes just started yesterday here at the Capstone. So it's been a busy week for the Crimson Tide, and we're getting close to them shifting into game week preparations for Western Kentucky. Love seeing the guest speakers that we talked about it last week with both Oz, the mentalist, and Mark Ingram getting to talk to the team. How about NBA legend Chris Paul, as well as NFL legend J.J. Watt coming to campus this past week. One thing that is unique about the DeBoer era, typically in the Coach Saban era, you would see the team captains voted on after the Iron Bowl or around the SEC championship game. Well, we have already heard who the team captains will be for this season. Jalen Milroe, Tyler Booker, as well as Malachi Moore and Deontay Lawson. Those are the four captains that the Crimson Tide will have for this upcoming season. So great honors for all of those guys. You'll be able to see their hand marks and cleat marks coming up at the base of Denny Chimes later in the year. Do want to remind you as well, tickets are on sale for Crimson Kickoff. You may have heard of the Nick at Noon luncheons in the past. Now Crimson Kickoff, presented by our friends at Yay Alabama, taking over for that, getting you an inside look at the Crimson Tide football team before all of our home games on Fridays at Bryant-Denny Stadium. More details available through RolledTide.com as well as Yay Alabama. Promise not to sing that each and every time. Alabama soccer team this past weekend started the season. Thursday night, it was a 3-0 loss at TCU. A tough opener against a tough team in Texas Christian, but then afterwards bounced back really well at a team that looks to be near the top of the standings again in the American Conference, North Texas. It was a 2-1 dramatic victory for the Crimson Tide. First goals of the year scored by Kylie Kukan as well as Gianna Paul just after an equalizing goal for North Texas in the 81st minute. Gianna Paul with a game winner for the Crimson Tide. Now tonight, the Crimson Tide at home against North Alabama, the home opener for the Crimson Tide. Alabama has really enjoyed some dominant success at home over the last few years of the Coach Hart era. 7 o'clock tonight for Alabama against UNA. You can watch that on SEC Network Plus. Sunday, the Crimson Tide will once again hit the road going to Chattanooga. Looks to be one of the better teams in the Southern Conference. That'll be a 5 p.m. kick in the scenic city of Chattanooga. Also, Gianna Paul, she had the game winner against North Texas. She has been named to the Mac Herman Award watch list. Essentially, that's the Heisman Trophy of college soccer, so great to see that for Gianna Paul. For basketball, both men's and women's basketball, now we know the full schedules for both of these teams, as the SEC schedules have been announced for both Nate Oates and the men's team, Christy Curry, and the women's team. Spoiler alert, there's a lot of Texas and Oklahoma on both schedules as we welcome them to the league, and especially the women's team going both to Austin and Norman. The men's basketball team, they'll get to go to Huntsville coming up later on this season. On Monday, October 28th, a charity exhibition has been announced against the University of Memphis. So a great matchup coming up at the on Braun Center. Again, one of those charity exhibition games. We've seen that for the Crimson Tide in the last few years, and great that they're staying in state for that with our friends in Huntsville. Then the golf team really loved it last week when the golf team saw the reveal of Crimson Reserve, the new practice facility for Alabama's men's and women's golf teams. It is fantastic. You can take some videos, look at some videos on Alabama's social media platforms, RolledTide.com. Great facilities, great setting for golf that will only help Jay Sewell, his men's team, and of course Mick Potter and the women's team continue to be at the top of the Southeastern Conference. Somebody that scored a touchdown in the SEC championship game last year is Jam Miller. He looks to be a dynamic part of this Crimson Tide offense this season at running back, and as you'll hear, he may be used in some other ways as well. He sat down with us as part of our Countdown Fall Camp of the Crimson Tide Inside the Episode podcast earlier this week here in Tuscaloosa.
Now we just all grinding, just trying to get each other better each and every day because, at the end of the day, we're going to need each other. Keep building, we just ready to go win it all.
Roll Tide and welcome back to Bryant-Denny Stadium. We're inside the Advantage Center at our podcast studio. I'm Roger Hoover, now pleased to be joined by Crimson Tide running back Jam Miller as we're taking a look at Countdown, presented by Poetry Financial. Look inside the episode 2 that Jam focuses on this Crimson Tide offense. What do you liked about this offense so far this year?
This offense is great this year. Coach DeBoer brought his staff, his new staff that he had in Washington and probably like a few other guys he brought from the side, other schools. But, like the new staff here, we all love them. Ain't nothing really changed from Coach Saban era and Coach DeBoer. Everything the same. We're here to win.
When you heard that Coach DeBoer was going to be the new head coach of the Tide, you knew as well Coach Sheridan comes over. What'd you start to study about Washington's offense and how they use the running backs?
Oh, they use their running backs great. Not even only in the backfield, but they also, put them out a slot, receiver or anything and let them run a few routes. And from of course, Saban, we ran a few routes out of the backfield, but Coach DeBoer, this kind of pretty new for us, being out there and receiver and running routes, but we got pretty used to it now.
Yeah, do you like being used as a pass catching option?
Oh yeah, yes sir, most definitely.
That's really good to see. And, of course, we know you're going to get a lot of carries this season for the Crimson Tide. We've also heard a lot about Justice Haynes. What kind of camp has he had so far?
Oh, Justice Haynes, he's a great player. Not even him, even all the other running backs, from the oldest to the youngest. We're just all grinding, just trying to get each other better each and every day because, at the end of the day, we're going to need each other.
Certainly are. And what was the focus for this group? Once spring practice was done, how'd you guys get in the weight room and make sure you got better before camp?
Oh, at the spring ball, we just made sure our body just stayed healthy. Just kept building body armor, from the weight room, nutrition. When fall camp came, we was all ready. Barely players got really injured, really minor injuries, but, they'll be ready for game one.
What's your favorite part of the weight room and the way you feel like you got strongest the most over the offseason?
My favorite part about the weight room is squats. Squats. I don't if people really see me in person, I got huge thighs. My thighs are huge, so I've been loving squats since I was like middle school, So that was my main workout that I love to do.
Makes it hard to tackle you, right?
Oh yeah.
That's certainly good. How have you adjusted all the morning practices and the different schedule that this group has?
I was, it ain't really nothing new for me because I did it in high school, but from transferring to the afternoon to the morning now, it was a little difficult to get used to, but right now we all just got the flow of it.
That's really good to see. What are you seeing out of Jalen Miller right now and all the other quarterbacks as well as they continue to lead this offense?
Oh, great. Every single one of them was great. Jalen Miller, of course, he getting better over time. Even Ty, even all the other young ones that came in. And, they just building together, If one person make a mistake, they always communicate with each other and try to get each other better.
How about this offensive line?
Oh, love them. I love them. Of course, we got a few guys that's still here that didn't transfer. We got a new center. Parker.
Yeah, he's good.
yeah, we got a great offensive lineman. Yeah, I can't wait to see him in game one.
That's really exciting to hear about is, of course, you guys are going through fall camp. One of the things we've always loved about fall camp before, Coach Saban always bring in a lot of interesting speakers. Coach DeBoer has continued that. What have you liked about some of the different people that have come in, not just football players, but some interesting folks as well, right?
I got to bring up Mark Ingram. He especially a back that came here from Bama and won the national championship in 2009. and just watching them speak. All they'll do is just sit back and just listen to him and just write important notes, things that he had said during it. But it was great for him to be there. And I heard I don't remember his name, but it was another guest speaker. I wasn't there, but they say he was like it was like illusion person. It was just somebody.
Oz the mentalist.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he like getting people minds with like read their minds. It's just like the people that like my teammates and they were telling me like how he was. I wish I was there at that moment.
That's got to be great to see, especially with a guy like Mark Ingram, too. Again, he played your same position. He was able to win the Heisman Trophy, win a national championship. Do you ever go back and look at some of his runs and his style and how you can bring that to your own game, too?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Especially like right after right after he speak or whatever, I was like, let me just go back and just watch more videos of him. And I just love his game. Like, he's physical, he got that great mindset to just go finish, and that's what I love about him.
Is that one of the most special things about playing football at Alabama, the brotherhood you're now part of with everybody that's worn that crimson shirt?
Oh, yeah. Even a freshman, like even a new freshman that just came in, we all took them in like brothers, We got to build that brotherhood, from the oldest to the youngest.
Last year was such a special season for this Crimson Tide football team. Some early adversity, but you go throughout the year, you win the SEC championship, make it to the Rose Bowl, and everyone started saying Link. It started with Jalen Milroe and Terrion Arnold, and all of a sudden you're seeing it everywhere. Every team on campus has a shirt. What did it mean to you to see the rise of Link, and especially your teammates being able to use their name, image, and likeness along with Alabama's brand to come together?
Oh, like at the beginning of last year, we lost to Texas, and people, they was really down on us if we were going to make it that far as we did. And, of course, J. Mill and Terrion, they brought in a Link. So, once Link started, then everything just carried on for itself. Just let all naysayers know. And then from then on, we just kept building and winning. And, of course, you see where we got to. But now this year, we're going to make it all the way.
I really like hearing that. What has you excited the most about this football season?
Oh, like right now, of course, we know what happened all last year, and even like some of the players that transferred from Washington to Bama, we both got the same feeling of losing that game at that close, and right now we just kept building, just keep building, we just ready to go win it all.
What's your favorite part of game day?
Game day? Ooh.
Especially here, yeah.
Walk a champion, they're just seeing all the people that just come out there in support of, like without them, I don't think Bama would be what it is now without all our fans.
Your friends and family have a certain spot kind of they try to get to every time to see you?
Well, they'll try because, people, they get there like real early just to get the front row. But, I try to look for them as I'm walking through.
Last question. What do you feel like your role is going to be for this Alabama football team this year?
Oh, I believe I'll play a good role and, like, mainly the running game. Just not only that, but, like, I just want to play all the roles, without the ball, just trying to go and just block, protect the quarterback, if the quarterback throw the ball to receiver, just chasing the ball, just doing the little things to make us win the game.
Coming out of the backfield, catching a long touchdown pass too, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
I think we can all look forward to that. Jan Miller, just thank you for your time visiting with us here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Best of luck with what's coming up. Roll Tide.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide.
Alabama racing is back. Don't miss the opportunity to experience the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs at Talladega. Witness the return of racing on October 6th and also be part of NASCAR's biggest and baddest track. From the blistering speed on the track to the unparalleled fan access of the Talladega Garage Experience, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Tickets are on sale now. Secure your seats today for the Yellowwood 500 at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. From one leader of the football team to a leader on the soccer team, still at the Advantage Center at Bryant-Denny Stadium, we were able to talk to Brooke Steere, one of the most liveliest personalities you will meet on this Crimson Tide soccer team. I think you'll see why coming up in just a moment. Brooke has been a part of the rise of Alabama soccer. She details her recruitment to Alabama, plus what's going to make this team special and really stand out from the rest that we've seen the last couple of years. As we look forward to tonight's soccer home opener in Tuscaloosa, let's catch up first with Alabama soccer's Brooke Steere. Roll Tide and welcome back to Bryant-Denny Stadium. We're at the Advantage Center in the podcast studio. This is Roger Hoover. Now, please be joined by Alabama Soccer's Brooke Steere as we are getting set for the start of Alabama soccer season. And Brooke Steere, Roll Tide. It's good to have you here.
So excited to be here.
Just how excited are you for the season to be here? Obviously, there's been a lot of hard work going back to the spring and the summer getting ready for this moment.
Yeah. It all leads up to kind of this one moment, which is just so exciting. And getting started, everyone's kind of antsy to get there, and preseason is hard, and all the tough stuff kind of gets going. Then you get into season, and it's just super exciting. So I couldn't be more excited for it to come around the corner.
And then you've been starting some seasons being one of the newcomers, maybe the Alabama roster, but now you're one of the veterans, one of the seniors on this team. Have you liked that leadership role?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I think that the newcomers have made it easy. They've made our culture better, and just kind of continuing our culture as people that have been here since our culture was built. So continuing that with the new players has been just a really fun job to kind of take on. But it's been great, and I've really enjoyed it so far. Yeah.
Some really good transfers coming in. We've talked a lot about this freshman class. We've interviewed Ashley Roney, Breezy Brewer in here. Just how do you guys as upperclassmen try to welcome them to Alabama?
I think not forcing it, to be honest. I mean, they make it easy when we have similar personalities and we have people that just want to have fun with us and kind of come in open arms themselves. It makes it a lot easier to kind of welcome them in when they want to be welcomed. So we had a lot of fun just kind of doing team bonding stuff and getting to know each other and just becoming friends rather than teammates first, which was really fun. So I think it's less of us forcing it on them and more them just being open to just us welcoming them in and being part of the team. So yeah.
Speaking of team bonding, how fun is it to get on the lake with Coach Hart?
Always fun. Always a fun day. We always got the 3 boats and the tubes and everything. It's just a fun day to kind of decompress from preseason and just get out there and have fun. So yeah, it was a really awesome day.
Now, does he pull the Nick Saban move of him driving the boat, someone on the tube trying to have them hit the waves and knocked off the tube?
Most of the time, and his son decides to do that too, and then Kate Hendo, they all try and do it. But yeah, tubing is an adventure for sure.
That's really cool. So that's all part of the Alabama soccer experience for you and your teammates, and for you getting to join this team. Originally from Michigan, how'd you end up in Tuscaloosa with Crimson Tide?
I mean, so it was actually my first visit. So I got very, very lucky and took a visit that was just incredible. And I love the coaching staff and love the current people on the team. Obviously love the campus. You can't complain about the campus. It's literally college in a movie, if you want to put it like that. But I just really enjoyed the kind of stuff that they wanted to do as I was coming in. And I wanted to go to a program that wasn't already built and crazy and already had all these insane things done, but like had a good stepping stone, and they were doing great things with it. So when I came in and Wes told me what they wanted to do with this team, I was like, I want to be a part of that stuff. So I committed very early, but I really loved everything that they were doing here. And that was 4 years prior to me actually coming in there. So I was really excited to see what happened. And then it's been happening. So, love when stuff actually comes to fruition. So yeah.
It really has, an SEC championship, an appearance in the College Cup that we'll talk about. Who were some of the teammates or that you went through the recruiting process with that ended up committing as well to Alabama and you got to play with here?
Yeah, so Leah Cundy was one of my classmates, Karis Hall, and our class was big and then a little bit smaller as it kind of went, just because of how college goes and that kind of stuff. But it's been interesting because like Gessica, Skorka, and all those girls in that class, they were kind of with me too when we went to summer camps together with the overnight camp that they do, and we all as commits kind of went to that. So I got to know people a long time before I got in here, and then seeing how they actually are in the college space was kind of cool. So yeah, a lot of a year older than me, a year younger than me, and my year were all kind of in that. So yeah.
Speaking of Leah Cundy, we interviewed Wes about a week ago, and he said, watch out for Leah. She's going to have a great year. What have you seen from her in practice?
Leah, the best word to describe her is just nasty. I mean, everything that she does, I stand there in awe sometimes because I'm like, she just can go. She's so fast. She's so confident on the ball. She can go at people at speed, but also stay very under control with the ball. I don't want to defend her in practice. Let's just say that. I don't have fun doing that. And she's got a shot on her. She's got a cross on her. She's got a lot of weapons that are very, very scary.
Yeah, we're excited to see that offensively for the Tide this year while you're helping the back line get a lot of stops as well. Let's also go back to when you joined Alabama. What was it, the fall of 2020 you came here with? And that was still right at the height of COVID.
Well, I actually came in early, so spring of that year would have been when I came in. But yeah, it was very, very, I mean, an interesting time altogether, but I just loved getting to college and kind of that first experience, but I ended up getting hurt my freshman year. So it was kind of a shuffle backwards, and then I came back and then became a defender. So it was a lot.
It really was a lot. And you mentioned the injury. What was that, in the 2021 season?
Yes. So that first season of mine, the fall, a few games in, I tore my shoulder. So yeah, it was an interesting injury for a soccer player.
It really was. So what happened on that play? How'd you come back? Who really helped you?
Yeah, I didn't really expect it, because obviously you don't expect to have a shoulder injury take you out for a season, especially your freshman season, coming in as a soccer player with no upper body injuries ever. But our PT people and everyone who helped with that, and Jeff, our trainer, it was just a very quick recovery, and it was smooth, and they all just wanted to get me back. And it was a very hard time, but coming back and then doing that the next year obviously helps a little bit. So, but yeah, it was interesting for sure.
Yeah, that was hard to see in the 21 season. And you mentioned 22. What was your kind of mindset going into the season then? How did everything change with some other injuries on the team?
Yeah, same kind of process that I had coming in, is I just wanted to help the team do whatever we could. And I think every year, kind of looking in preseason and finding out the talent that we have each year, I'm like, I just want to do whatever we can to make this team as best as we can. And that year, I think, was a big case of that, because I came in and, things were different. Things were crazy. Injuries were coming back, like all this kind of stuff. And I was just kind of sitting down ready to, whatever in preseason kind of came at me, I was ready to do that so that we could get it rolling into season. And then obviously that season was something to be amazed of, but it was great. I think people coming back from injuries, my class had a lot of injuries, but each year we've kind of come back stronger and stronger, and then they've figured out kind of how to keep the injuries away, and our strength and conditioning program, they have all done great jobs with that. So I think that year especially, we kind of kept learning stepping stones of how to keep people on the field, and it's been great. Yeah.
Taking over as the starting center back, who helped you the most kind of around you in those early games you started to get more comfortable?
Yeah, I mean, Sasha Pickard has always been my role model. When I was first learning how to play center back, she was teaching me literally everything, and she was yelling at me, telling me where to go on the field, and I would not be the defender that I am today without her at all. But I think she kind of gave me the tools to help other people and to understand like what we do as a defensive line, because we have a very specific way that we play, and she had so much confidence in that, and she had so much faith in that it kind of translated into me. And so any one of our center backs, any one of our outside backs, like I tell them that this is how it works, and this is why we do it. So yeah, she's a huge role model to me, and I give her all her flowers.
Describe that backline mindset that's helped make Alabama soccer one of the dominant programs in the country.
I mean, we hold a high line. We don't let up throughout the game. We're relentless in our pressure, and that most of the time starts with our forwards, but that kind of comes all the way through our back line. And if we weren't kind of like that and our forwards were doing the same thing, we'd be very separate and not like a conjoined team, I guess you could say. But we're relentless. That's the best word I can say, is that we're just going to keep going, and we're going to keep pressing, and we're going to keep that line up so that forwards keep getting frustrated. But yeah.
Well, we've seen that a lot, especially going back to 2022 as you step into that role. Yeah. I mean, the great trip out west, the Clemson game at home, and then you go through SEC play. I mean, it had to unfold like a dream season for you all.
It did. And I think especially with that, we're being very careful, because that season was fantastic, and we love it so much, and we love to talk about it because it was amazing. But I'm so excited for this year to be something that not stops us from talking about that year, because that year was amazing. It had its own things that we did with it, but this year I'm super excited to do something else with this team and have another kind of calling card for us for another year. Yeah.
That's certainly exciting for what's coming up this year. Like you mentioned, a great SEC championship season. You make it to the College Cup in 2022. How'd you see last year's team? Still with a lot of familiar faces, some newcomers as well. How'd you guys navigate everything with the pressure of being a defending SEC champion?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Coming back when you've done so much in a year, you come back and A, the standards are so much higher because everyone else is looking at you, but B, the standards for yourself and practice and everything is higher because there's so much wanting to continue doing that and wanting to build the program even higher. And, you know, we got to the College Cup, but no team wants to just get there. And like, that's what they want to do. And we wanted to win another national championship. We still want to win a national championship. So I think last year, especially, it was growing pains of getting kind of past that year and understanding that the year was done. Like it's done. Same thing with this year. And that's what great teams have to do, is go to the next year and keep building and continuing winning and doing all the great things that we did in practice. And that's why. And I think last year kind of our culture built again and again and again with our practices and how we're working towards another great thing and another great year.
Now, last year we did see some great things, including 3 goals for you, especially around some set pieces. What was the success there, finding the back of the net?
Yeah, I think I've always loved getting up in the air and getting on set pieces. And if they finally kind of started clicking at the end of the year last year, which I was very thankful for, hoping to see a lot more of that this year and kind of starting early on it.
I'd always joke with Macy, like I always look for her more than anybody on, set pieces and things like that. She was obviously great with the header goals. A lot of that was, of course, set up by Felicia Knox with a great service. How good was she?
She was, it's Felicia. What else can you say? She's fantastic. I mean, her balls for corners, set pieces, anything, like I could count on it being somewhere near me and Macy's head, which, like you just said, it's a special thing. And I think she's doing great things, and I'm so excited for her and her career, but she's amazing. Just like I was talking about Leah, she's got so many assets and so many things that she can play off of. It's just insane. You kind of, your jaw drops while you're watching her play.
Fans love seeing the goals. I think they also loved on social media the celebration she would have after different goals. Was that natural? Was that planned? How'd that all come together?
I mean, me, Macy, and her had one celebration that we planned, but after that, her energy was just there, and it was awesome and brought fans into the game. So I mean, it was natural. Her ability to draw people in was just natural. So
that was pretty funny. And again, fans got to see your personality in the process. I interviewed Raina Reyes 2 years ago, and I said, "Who's the funniest on the team?" And she, without fail, said, "Brooke Steere." Have you always been kind of the one that keeps the locker room loose?
I try to. I mean, there's definitely a side of that to me. I'd say I mostly try to keep it loose at practice, and I'm try to keep the vibes up. So I'd like to say I like to do that.
How do you do that? Is it jokes? Is it just the way you say things? Like how does that come together?
I don't know. I got a lot of energy, and I just kind of let it out sometimes, and it just is very consistently there. So however that comes out, whether it's dancing or talking to everybody on the field, I think it just kind of comes out sometimes.
That's certainly very cool. And again, it goes all hand in hand with the leadership. Again, you guys keep the locker room in a really high spirits, it seems like. Just what are you most excited about for this group in particular?
Yeah, I think there's so much potential. I think that there's so much skill, and there's such a depth of skill that if we can put it together, there's no telling what we're going to do, because there is such a level of every practice, we've had scrimmages now, and I told Maddie Podolsky, which is one of our freshmen, I was sitting back there and I got caught ball watching because she was doing some crazy stuff that I was literally, as a soccer player, I was jaw dropped at. And I just love watching this team with the foot skill and the energy and what we want to do. And it feels collectively that everyone wants it so bad. And so I think with the skill and everyone wanting it, you don't know what comes of that. So I'm very excited for it to all come together.
And I'm sure you're excited as well for fans to get to watch you once again, because you've seen the rise of fans. Obviously, we limited things during the COVID season, but then since then, the buzz has been building around this program. What does that fan support mean to you?
It's awesome. I mean, before, I think a few years ago and stuff, Alabama wasn't necessarily a soccer state, and there was not a lot of, it was the other football, obviously, and it still is huge on all the sports. But I think getting a fan base and having people that are going to show up every game and not having to worry about, what's going to happen here, what's going to happen there. We know that these people are going to show out, and especially for these big games. And, Duke, obviously that College Cup year was one of the craziest fan experiences I've ever had. And the amount of support and stuff from this city has just been amazing. And so I think this year it's exciting to, 22nd, I think, is our first home game. So getting back and having our people around us again, it's just really exciting, really cool.
We're definitely looking forward to that. You've gotten to experience Alabama's athletics as well through your relationship with Evan Slight, somebody we've interviewed before on this show. It was nice to look down at Evan's senior day. You were on the field along with Patrick Murphy, the head softball coach. How special was that? How great was it to watch him and what he did this year?
It was awesome. I mean, he's just someone that you want to grab onto anything that he says, and I think it's just so important. And we got a little surprise for our warm-up shirts this year. That'll be cool. So, and that's related to kind of stuff that he's told us. And I am so grateful for everything that he's done for just the community and all of these teams, but he's a special guy, and everything that he says to these teams makes a difference. So it was very cool to get that experience and have him kind of be there for him. But yeah.
It was really cool to see. And of course, you got to be at a lot of baseball games. Again,
Yeah.
you mentioned the Duke game. There were so many student athletes from all over campus that got to cheer you guys on. How meaningful is that?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I have friends from track and gymnastics and softball and all those people, and it's kind of cool to do a little round robin where everyone's kind of flipping and going to each other's games in different seasons. But looking up there and seeing other athletes that took time out of their day to sit there and watch your game and cheer us on, it's so special. And, you know, students and stuff, it's really cool, but student athletes, we have so much in a day. And so them taking time out of their day to come sit for a 90-minute game, it's so special. And our track friends and gymnastics and stuff, it's a relentless support that just always comes back. So it's a really good feeling.
That's great to see. And again, you mentioned Alabama's your first visit. You felt like it was kind of straight out of a movie for a college experience. Has it really lived up to that in the last few years?
Absolutely. I think, you know, when you walk on this beautiful campus, it's hard not to be like just grateful of where we are. But as far as the athletics and everything going on here and how many strides that has even been made since I've been here, it's like a movie. So yeah.
Well, we hope for a great ending coming up this
Yes.
season with maybe another championship and a college cup run, hopefully a national championship. But Brooke, Steere, you're one of the leaders that hopefully is going to get Alabama there. Just thank you so much for all the time you've given us on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Roll Tide.
Appreciate it. Roll Tide.
This is what being a NASCAR fan is all about.
Gets the win at Talladega.
Singular history and tradition. And triple header playoffs action to ratchet up the stakes. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Brooke Steere really strong in the back line of the Crimson Tide defense, and she has been playing alongside Jessica Skorka for so much of her career, as Skorka is now entering to what is going to be her 5th year at the University of Alabama, one of the key senior leaders of this team. We recorded this interview a few weeks ago at the Alabama Soccer Stadium, but wanted to get her thoughts on how preseason practice was shaping up for the Crimson Tide as they get ready to go for what should be an outstanding fall here in Tuscaloosa. Roll Tide and welcome back to Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover. Now, please be joined by a defender for the Crimson Tide and now a 5th-year senior, Jessica Skorka. Roll Tide. How's it going, Jessica?
It's going good. I'm really excited to be back for my 5th year and excited to see where things are going to go.
We're certainly excited based on so many of the great performances you've already had in an Alabama uniform. First of all, tell us about that decision to come back for this 5th year. Why was it important for you to be back on the field?
Honestly, I felt like it made the most sense. There's no reason for me to try and rush the outside world, if I'm being completely honest. I wanted to come back and play another season under Wes and play with the girls that I've been playing with for these past 5 years. So,
tell us about your relationship with Coach Hard. What makes it fun to play in his style and his system?
Wes is just Wes is just the best guy ever. Like, he's very easygoing, lighthearted. It's like you're not scared to be on the field when you're playing under him, kind of thing. He has great leadership, great, I guess, pieces of advice that when we're playing, things aren't always the same, and just his energy he brings to games and stuff like that. It's really fun to play under.
And of course, you've been part of the rise of Alabama soccer, especially a few years ago with the College Cup and the SEC Championship. Is that the vision you were sold on early on when you were thinking about coming here?
Oh, 100%. Wes has always wanted to be like a program that's in the Final Four, winning college cups, or winning the college tournament, I guess, winning SEC tournaments. So that's always been a goal of his, and seeing it come to fruition was really cool.
Yeah, a lot of great moments for you with the Crimson Tide, and now you are one of the veterans, one of the leaders on this team. Have you taken on more of a leadership role?
Yeah, I definitely have. I think that this season and a little bit of last season was really about stepping into a leadership role and helping the younger girls on the team learn and grow and develop as players like the older girls before me did as well.
Do you love as well, especially as a defender, so much of this program's identity has been formed by its defense. We talk with Wes all the time about hunting the ball.
Yes, 100%. That is like Gianna said, that's like engraved in our brains to hunt the ball and to, as soon as you lose it, get it back as soon as you can. So that's something that's really important. I would say that's a staple of ours on defense and offense.
You're back in the outside back role. Tell us about the rest of the back line. Who's starting to step up? Who are some good options back there?
We have a lot of good options. We have depth all around the field, and I would say we have another freshman, Mason Smith. She's very technical, very good on the ball. And all of our options in the defense are really, everyone is ready to step up and play minutes if they're given the opportunity to.
And, of course, Wes wants that defense to help support the offense. So what are you noticing up top with some of the play we're seeing from Alabama's midfielders and forwards?
like I said before, the depth is insane. Like, I think this is the most depth we've had in the 5 years I've been here. We have, like Gianna was saying, a bunch of new freshmen, a bunch of transfers coming in. Like Gianna said, Maddie Podolsky. We have Z. She's from Michigan State. I don't know how to say her name completely. We have a couple new freshmen, Sophie, Kylie. Like, the list goes on and on. So I'm really excited to see.
What's going to be most important as you continue preseason, getting ready for these early matches of the year, making sure you're good to go for mid-September and SEC play?
Backpacking off of Gianna, taking one game at a time, I think is very important. We can't focus on 3 games in advance whenever we have a game right in front of us. So I think going game by game, just trying to develop our play as we go each and every day.
How fired up for you for these stands to be filled? I mean, we've seen, again, the rise of Alabama soccer. The fan support's been incredible. How much has that meant to you?
It's amazing. Like, I think I can attest for every player on the field that playing in front of 100 people versus playing in front of thousands of people, it's night and day difference. The fans absolutely bring a different level of, like, energy and excitement for the players. Like, we love playing in front of our fans, and we love our fans, and we hope they all come out this season too.
Well, I can't wait to cheer you on. Jessica Skorka, thank you so much for the time you've given us today on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. We'll see you this year. Roll Tide.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
Crimson Drive is driven by NASCAR, and NASCAR's biggest and baddest track is back. Don't miss out on a weekend full of NASCAR playoffs action this fall. Racing returning to Talladega Superspeedway, October 4th through the 6th. Purchase your tickets today at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
If you missed it, you can catch that on demand on the Alabama Insider podcast, as well as all of our CTSN social media platforms. Last but not least, we hear from the head coach of the Crimson Tide football team. We started the show with football. We're going to end it with football as well. Kalen DeBoer met with the media on Saturday at Bryant-Denny Stadium following the second scrimmage for the Crimson Tide. And those of you who have followed preseason camp for years know that really the second scrimmage, 2 weeks before the season opener, that is the key scrimmage of fall camp to really determine a lot of position battles and just see if this team is ready to go for physical football contact. Here's what Coach DeBoer had to say following Saturday's scrimmage in Tuscaloosa.
Scrimmage number 2, 2 weeks from today, we're on the field, game day. So days are counting down, and another really productive scrimmage. Different situations from what we probably got into just naturally, not even scripted or being intentional, just a little bit more red zone inside the 10 work that happened at the end. Really, again, good give and take. I think the defense continues they did a good job against the run early. Offense hit a couple explosives. Just trying to give you an overall summary. I think a couple takeaways by the defense, but did a great job of having to make it happen. Tip ball. Diving player, great play. So, love that from the defensive side, that when those plays were to be made, they made them. I think offensively, on the, just flip it. Some, pass catches by the receivers, which were extremely competitive with great defense, and coming down with those balls was good to see. And the positioning by the defense was also good to see. So, very physical. I thought it was a very physical scrimmage. It is definitely the most physical scrimmage we've had since we've been here, out of the 4 or 5 counting the spring game. And so got through relatively healthy. Some things this week with a couple guys that will hold them probably out for a few practices, but by the end of the week we should, for the most part, be having the guys that we need to be out there practicing, getting ready for, week 1 against Western Kentucky. So getting some of the guys back that maybe were dinged up over the last week or two, slowly but surely. Kept a couple guys out just if they had to play, they could have. A guy like Jam Miller, I know you guys are well aware, just dinged up a week ago. And so just could have gone today if he needed to. Just not getting too crazy and being smart. So we're getting healthier, I think, even though we got a few guys dinged up today. Jaden will be able to play week 1. So he'll be able to play week 1. It won't be anything where he'll be out for a game or anything.
And then the update on that, how did the offense plan look today?
Just with I think, again, I thought it was probably the best give and take as far as pressure, but also just really being able to kind of dig in and give a pocket for the quarterbacks. When we needed some time, they did it. But there was also some times, much like last week, where the defense, got to the quarterback and finished drives off. And a lot of times those are in your third down situations. Third down, back to the wall, got home. And so I thought, with running backs, Jam in particular, not really doing anything out there. Rotation with some of those guys. I thought we were solid. I do think our defensive line is doing a really good job against the run. Yeah, I thought they were really on top of receivers all day long. They understand their responsibilities in the right position. I'm sure there's a couple clips we can find. I mean, that's always going to be the case where, they could have been better, but really nothing as far as like busted assignments. I think they continue to get better each and every day. They're practicing out there and they really want to do it. There's a high level of want to, and they know a lot of eyes are on them. And so I'm really proud of the way they continue to bring it each and every day. Some physicality out there. I thought they had times when they needed to tackle and they got guys to the ground. Again, laid some hits on some guys running routes, both receivers, tight ends. So a lot of good things from that group. They continue to grow. They continue to improve each and every day and each and every week.
That's going to wrap up this edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. It has been an outstanding show getting to hear from Jam Miller with football, Brooke, Steere, Gessica, Skorka with the Crimson Tide soccer team, as well as Coach DeBoer with Coach's Checklist. We appreciate the time of all of them here with us this week for what is our last, again, Thursday-only edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Now we're gearing up into game week preparation in Western Kentucky on the horizon. So coming up on Tuesday, we'll be along with you once again at 2 o'clock streaming live. The episode's always available on demand on our social media platforms. But Tuesday and Thursday at 2 o'clock, catch Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. And also looking ahead to next week, don't forget on Wednesday night, it will be the next edition of Hey Coach and the Kalen DeBoer Show, 6 p.m. Baumhauer's Victory Grill here in Tuscaloosa. And this will be the first edition where Coach DeBoer is in person with Chris Stewart at the restaurant. Packed house last night for the show. We want to see an even more packed house coming up Wednesday to welcome Coach DeBoer to Hey Coach and the Kalen DeBoer Show game week. It's just a special feeling that we get here in Tuscaloosa, knowing that Western Kentucky is just around the corner. And next week as well, don't forget, kickoff, 6 p.m. against the Hilltoppers. Our radio coverage will start at 3 o'clock here on the network. We're certainly excited for all of that. We certainly appreciate Ethan Caravan. He put this entire show together. We thank all of you for watching. Make sure you enjoy this weekend. It's week 0 of college football season. It's the last chance to really rest up a little bit because the journey begins next week when Alabama hosts Western Kentucky. We can't wait to be a part of it. For everybody with the Crimson Tide Sports Network, I'm Roger Hoover saying thank you for watching and roll Tide.